The midterm elections are just months away, so how concerned should we be about a foreign power once again meddling in our elections? For a look into how vulnerable our infrastructure is to getting hacked, it's time for the check-in. Even before Trump became president, he demonstrated that he didn't really take the issue of hacking too seriously. How do I know? Well, because he publicly appealed to a foreign adversary to continue hacking into the emails of his opponent at the time, Hillary Clinton.
I will tell you this. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
That's right. Trump didn't just not take it seriously, he encouraged it. He's like one of those parents who say, if you kids are going to drink, I'd rather you do it in the house. And then when you're good and buzzed, I have shrooms in the freezer. Now, one of the reasons Russia was able to hack into the DNC and meddle in our presidential election is that we were ill-prepared for such an attack. And to be fair, no one was ready. There was little preparation and bumbling responses from both sides of the aisle. But now Trump is in charge, and that's disconcerting considering this is how he talks about cybersecurity and technology in general.
Now the cyber is so big. Maybe there's something with the crazy computers. You know, in the old days, everything was better, right? Now you have to open up things, press a computer, it takes you 15 minutes. You know, we're in a cyber world. This is now a cyber world. Russia is knocking us off. We talk about the hacking, and hacking's bad, and it shouldn't be done. A hacker, some guy with a 200 IQ that can't get up in the morning, okay?
Sounds like he's got a handle on it. It reminds me of old Law and Order episodes where someone tries to explain the internet to Lenny Briscoe. So you're telling me I can type something here and somebody else can read it in another city? What a world. Okay, so it's clear that Trump is no expert on this topic, but at least when he became president, he had his choice of anyone he wanted to put in charge of cybersecurity, and he went with the young, charismatic tech whiz, Rudy Giuliani, even though he couldn't recognize Rudy when he was sitting right in front of him.
I want to introduce Rudy Giuliani, and Rudy's very much of an expert on cybersecurity. It's been a very important thing to him and to what he does, and maybe I'll ask Rudy to say a few words.
Well,
Rudy.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. President. First of all, congratulations on what is, in fact, a historic start of an administration.
He was directly across the table from him. How is Trump going to find the hackers when he can't even find Rudy Giuliani at the same table? No one else looks like Rudy Giuliani. Was there another 200-year-old, bald, beady-eyed man at the table? Now, over a year after that proclamation, reports say Giuliani's committee accomplished pretty much nothing. But luckily, Trump didn't just leave Rudy in charge of it all. He also tasked Jared Kushner with helping to lead cybersecurity efforts in addition to being in charge of creating peace in the Middle East, fixing the VA, and solving the opioid crisis while simultaneously going through puberty.
Many of our federal systems are decades old. We are here to improve the day-to-day lives of the average citizen. That's a core promise, and we are keeping it.
That's right, Jared Kushner, the guy whose previous relationship to the internet was, I'm guessing, clearing the search history before his mom got home? Jared, what are you doing? Oh, just the Middle East, fixing the Middle East. Just Middle East stuff. Now, back in October, we thought we'd finally learn more about what exactly the administration plans to do to prevent other countries from hacking into our databases. But unfortunately, Trump's cybersecurity czar, Rob Joyce, didn't show up to a hearing on U.S. cyber defense strategy. The White House actually blocked him from testifying, citing executive privilege, resulting in an empty chair with his name tag during the hearing. And that only seemed to encourage senators on the committee to draw attention to his absence.
The empty chair is outrageous. We had a foreign government go at the heart of our democracy.
We see the person in charge at an empty seat here today.
But let's be honest, even when Trump administration officials do show up for questioning, senators are also pretty much just talking to empty chairs. Just take a look at this.
I can't answer with definitive what the conclusion is.
Yeah, I don't know what the barriers are. Senator, I don't understand it.
Wish I could give you that number. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I have no idea. Do I know what now?
What now? Now, this particular empty chair, Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced just last month that the Department of Justice would create a new cybersecurity task force in order to study election interference. The DOJ is tasked with providing a report on its findings at the end of June. But beyond that, we don't know much more about this task force. But what we already know about the situation in general is that it may be a little too late for more studies and reports.
Frankly, the United States is under attack.
Russian meddling is a very real threat in the upcoming election, and the U.S. is unprepared.
Until we have some deterrent capacity, we are going to continue to be attacked.
If we don't change the dynamic here, this is going to continue, and 2016 won't be viewed as something isolated. This is something will be sustained over time.
Now, if that's not enough to scare you, that guy right there, NSA Chief Mike Rogers, who's actually retiring this spring, also indicated that he hasn't received orders from Trump to disrupt Russian cyber attacks targeting elections. And after months and months of inaction, the State Department was finally given $120 million to fight Russian election meddling. And of that $120 million, it has spent $0. Now, to be fair, the Trump administration is probably saving all that money for goodbye cakes for all the people leaving the White House. That's not official. It's just we're taping at 6:30, so it's a guess. Meanwhile, the Senate is still waiting. Still waiting to get detailed cybersecurity plans from this administration. Because right now, Trump's cyber plan seems to boil down to...
Do I know what now?
This has been the Check-In.